Want to play spy but think backstabbing is overrated? Are razorback snipers giving you a hard time? Are enemies escaping and/or killing you because they're too far away for you to stab to death? If you said yes to any of the following, I have the perfect weapon for you. How Yinz doing? I'm Ian, and this is my TF2 How to Killstreak series, where we cover the best and worst weapons this game has to offer, and show you how to get a killstreak with them, because everything's a bad idea until it works. Today we shall be covering the stock revolver. Now without further ado, let's get into it.
You got blood on my suit!
The revolver is a stock weapon in TF2, meaning that you already have this item in your inventory. Whether or not you want it in your inventory is irrelevant since it cannot be removed. As for its stats, you have 6 shots in a clip before needing to reload. Please bear in mind you can't reload whilst cloaked as spy. This weapon has a base damage of 40, meaning you'll do somewhere between 21 to 60 damage per shot depending on your proximity to the target. Please bear in mind that these damage numbers do not consider such factors such as random crits, mini crits, or any other damage boosting applications within the game. This means it'll take a minimum of 3 shots to kill any class at full health, unless they are using items that reduce their maximum health pool such as the Big Earner. As a result of this, I advise against using the revolver on individuals at full health unless you have no other option. Whether your lack of other options is due to your failings as a player and a lack of skill, or due to a self-imposed challenge is not relevant to the discussion here. Thankfully, however, you are the spy, the best character suited for sneaking behind the enemy and picking off players. After all, the spy is the worst character in the game for head-to-head combat. If your plan is just to charge at the enemy guns blazing, you'll quickly find out that's not a recipe for success. This is because the spy is relatively frail compared to other characters such as the heavier soldier, and charging at them headfirst with your gun pulled out is a fast way to get killed over and over and over again. And remember, once players see that there's a spy on the enemy team, they'll start hunting you down with an unholy vigor that would make the Inquisition look tame.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
This means if there's already several people playing spy when you join a server, the enemy team will actually be on high alert for spy checking most likely, and be more than equipped to deal with you. So if your team is being spawn camped and your team already has 4 spies, take a nice good look at the lemons life gave you, and instead of making lemonade, use the dead ringer to get out of spawn, head over to Life's house, and burn it down with the lemons! Sorry about that, the ghost of Cave Johnson possessed me and went on a bit of a tirade. Where was I? Ah yes, spy watches for the revolver. We already briefly mentioned the dead ringer and its ability to cheat death like our dear Mr. Johnson. However, I believe unless you're in a choke point heavy map like Dust Bowl or you're just having a really bad game, you should be able to get behind the enemy in optimal range for your weapons without needing to rely on a get out of death free card. After all, it's not like snipers camp weird spots specifically to catch you off guard so that the moment you decloak you'll be in their sightline. Alright, I'll use the dead ringer. The main issue with the dead ringer is that you can't become invisible without letting the entire enemy team know that your team has a spy. At least not without relying on fall damage, which, depending on the map you're playing on, is extremely unreliable or even non-existent. In fact, the dead ringer even has a hidden stat. You see, whenever you use its cheat death ability to escape another player, enemy team communication will increase by 70 to 95%. Once that starts to be an issue, I advise sitting in timeout, use the cloak and dagger. You see, the cloak and dagger is great for those of you who can't be bothered to figure out where ammo packs are and would rather just sit in the exact same spot and wait for the perfect opportunity to come your way. A tactic that, in my life experience, is best used when your goal is to find disappointment rather than success. However, if you think having the longest kill streak means staying alive whilst irregularly getting kills, largely being a waste of a teammate whose only redeeming quality is they prevent bots from joining the server by hogging up space, then yes, this is the weapon that is key to you finally earning your gibbous. However, if you know where ammo packs are and have accepted the fact that as spy you will just randomly die to people walking around corners and spy checking you with a random crit every now and then, or just haven't unlocked any of the other watches yet, consider using the stock invisibility watch. She's old and reliable, unlike your teammates. Still, if you're hell-bent on going against the grain of what the spy was fundamentally designed to do, you will need to use the Dead Ringer for head-to-head combat, since without it, you won't have the durability needed to last any noteworthy period of time. As for what knife to use, the answer is quite simple: either stock or the Spycicle. You see, the other knives in the game actually have permanent penalties that apply to you regardless on whether or not you have the weapon pulled out, and only grant beneficial traits once you get a backstab with them. And since we're going for kills with the revolver and not our knife, these are just going to be flat penalties on a class that already has a serious disadvantage for what we're trying to do here. The stock knife is nice since it's never a bad option, whilst the Spycicle is ideal for those of you who have foregone going for backstabs entirely, since this is the only knife in the game that has any beneficial abilities that don't rely on getting backstabs whatsoever. In fact, if you're going pure gunspy, this weapon is effectively just hit 3 to turn off the fire, making this an invaluable tool for those of you who can reliably kill the pyro but struggle to deal with the afterburn. And for the sake of completing all the weapon slots, I will cover the sappers. Go stock, the red tape recorder sucks. No, I will not go into further detail. This is a video about getting a kill streak, not how to destroy engineer nests. If you're really struggling with sentry nests, remember these 2 things. 1, kill the engineer first, then deal with the buildings, and 2, use the number keys to switch weapons, not the mouse wheel. Trust me on this, if you try to use the mouse wheel, the sentry's reaction time will be faster than your own 9 times out of 10. All in all, I give the stock revolver an adequate out of 10. It does what it's intended to do extremely well. The only problem is that what it's intended for is not going on an epic kill streak, but rather as a last resort plan B for when stabbing someone fails miserably. That's all for now. Like the video if you did, comment what weapons you want to see me cover in the future, and subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one. I've been Ian, and this has been my TF2 kill streak guide to the stock revolver. And stay tuned, the Fat Scout is coming up next. Also, for those of you interested, I have a Twitter now. I'll leave a link in the description for those of you interested. I mostly just post videos I upload here on YouTube, as well as stuff I'm trying to pawn off on eBay. If that's of interest to you, great. If not, sorry for wasting your time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to figure out how to make this video long enough to reach the 8-minute mark for mid-rolls. Ooh, I know, I have the perfect idea. All I have to do is